From the dungeons of Morningstar, my name's Stretch.
And I'm Clint, and this is Prevailing Strange.
So this week we will probably touch on Fantastic Four, which we missed out on talking about last week.
We did get a bit carried away last week, mate.
We did. Well, that's all right. Baby steps.
I like how you've edited out a lot of that show because, yes, we could have kept talking.
We could have kept talking. We're also going to talk about Daredevil.
Yes.
I got around to watching the first 2 episodes last night. Same. And we both read a book or listened to a book this week.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. But first steps.
Oh, there you go.
There we
Good
go.
segue. Yeah. So your initial thoughts on the trailer? Rated out of 5 stars.
Oh, man, I'm not going to go rating trailers. Probably because I have a bias for trailers. I really enjoy trailers.
So,
yeah. I think that goes back to a nostalgic thing. Do you remember the trailers that used to be on the beginning of an overnighter?
Hell yeah.
A Video Easy or Blockbuster?
Especially not some booted up egg sucking for the cash.
I do remember that.
Vista, baby. And they're like, you wouldn't steal a car or you wouldn't download a movie. It's like everybody downloads everything.
Yeah.
You can literally 3D print a car now.
You can. Yeah, I mean, as a first look at the trailer, yeah, I'm not going to disparage anything straight away. It bit jarring the look of the setting.
Yeah. I think the setting of it's going to go back to America Chavez and Doctor Strange hopping through them dimensions. Hopefully it's a different dimension. It's not just they're going to like...
Well, the tech that we've seen is nothing like the main universe.
Exactly.
So it'll have to be a different universe. It has that very kind of future sci-fi...
like Jetsons.
Yeah. Retro sci-fi is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes. Retro sci-fi look. That their spaceship with the 3-prong kind of taking off. Yeah, there's nothing like that in the normal Marvel universe.
No. And that's the visuals of it. I absolutely loved it, dude. As soon as I seen the thing, I'm like, I'm in.
Perfect.
I'm in.
Best looking thing so far.
Matt Shackman, who's the director of it, he's had his finger in a lot of the Marvel TV shows.
WandaVision? Yeah, I believe he had a big part in that.
And him being offered this director's role sort of thing, I reckon he's going to do great things with it. He's been a guest on a couple of other podcasts that I listen to. And it's specifically he wants that comic accuracy and that whole... When he was talking about the Fantastic Four, the vision he's got for it is literally the whole family aspect of it.
Yeah, that is cool. I like what he's trying to do with it. Speaking about family, looking at the first trailer, it looks like Susan Storm might actually be pregnant when you first see her in the kitchen.
Dude, I've seen a couple. Yeah, it's only a couple of frames. A blink and you'll miss it, and she does look a bit
like they didn't edit from front on, but as soon as she turned, they edited her belly out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we might see Franklin in it.
Well, there is some... You can see in the back of the story, the board that Reed Richards is working on when he's writing out his calculations and shit. It's there's actually a nod to Franklin up in the top left corner, I think it was.
Right.
It actually says Franklin Reed Richards on it.
I missed that one.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Interesting, because he has an interesting power set. Whether that comes to fruition, maybe that's how they get to the main universe.
Well, wasn't he one of the main antithesis, is that the word? I don't know. I didn't do real well in English.
I think that's a word you're going for, yeah.
Battleworld. He had a massive hand in getting that whole universe done.
I believe so, because his powers are altering reality.
Yeah.
I believe he had some part to do with that, yeah, which will be the return of the directors from the last 2 Avengers movies coming back to do Doomsday.
Yes, sir.
Which is where we will presumably see Battleworld.
I think with them two, as soon as they were slated to be the directors, I was all in because you have a look at their slate from the Marvel Universe: Civil War, Winter Soldier, Endgame, and the third Avengers movie, Infinity War.
Yeah, all bangers.
Bangers.
Mm-hmm.
And bigs like that Endgame, that final sequence was one of the biggest sequences you've seen. So to be in charge of Doomsday and have that massive cast that's for sure going to have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Fantastic Four looks great.
It does. So we've got Pedro Pascal coming in. Pascal? Is that
Pascal,
yeah. As Reed Richards.
Fan.
Vanessa Kirby.
That's her.
Yes, as Susan Storm. We have Joseph Quinn as...
Dude, he's charming as shit in everything that he's in.
He was great in Stranger Things.
He was that last scene where he's on top of the caravan, dude, still gives you goosebumps. Yeah. He was in another movie, the Quiet Place prequel.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Very, very different character again. Like he was a bit of a Weasley bloke and scared of everything, but still played it well. I'll watch it.
And playing the Thing is Eben Moss Backrack, I think it is.
Yeah, he played Micro in the Punisher series. So
he did too.
He did, yeah.
Yeah,
so he
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so he was Micro in the Punisher series. Now that's been confirmed that they're both in the same universe. However, if this isn't a different universe straight up, the Fantastic Four, does Micro and the Thing meet up later on?
Probably not. But there's been a few actors that have played multiple roles in the universe before. That's no strange thing. I loved him in The Bear.
I haven't seen that.
And he was in the first season of Andor.
Yes.
Yeah. He's got chops.
Yeah.
Good actor.
I like him.
Yeah.
He says something in the trailer. He's like, I'm the most handsome member of the team. And I'm like, Pedro Pascal's way hotter. Pedro Pascal is hot.
He's a good-looking man.
Oh, yeah.
He gets better with age.
He's like 35. Could be.
Julia Gardner? Or Garner, no. Julia Garner is coming to play Silver Surfer.
Dude, as soon as they said they were going to have Galactus, I'm like, who are they going to cast as Silver Surfer?
Yeah.
Is it going to have Lawrence Fishburne's voice again?
Probably not.
It'd be hilarious.
But it would be interesting to see what kind of accent she puts on, because two of her characters from Ozark, if you watch that.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, she's got a real southern accent in that. Ruth, I believe the name of the character was. And she was in that Inventing Anna, where that con artist, and she played she had a Russian, kind of German kind of mishmash accent in that.
Well, see, I'm only really versed with the Norrin Rad version of the Silver Surfer.
Same.
So I've never really... I don't know what Silver Surfer she's playing.
I think she's just another gender-bent version.
Of Norrin Rad?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. Because God knows I got Crypto wrong last week. He was actually made on Krypton. So...
Yeah. Well, we can't always be right.
No.
And John Malkovich, in an undisclosed role, potentially Doom.
Do you bring in John Malkovich to play a bit part, or do you bring in John Malkovich to steal the scenes?
Yeah, he's not a small-time actor.
No, God, no.
And the fact that it's undisclosed, yeah.
But then again, have you ever seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah.
He's in that for all of 10 minutes.
That's true.
And it's just a bloke who blows his nose on stuff. He might just be there for shits and gigs.
He could be there for shits and giggles. I'm going to put my money on the fact that he's going to be that universe's
version of Doom.
Even though they've cast Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, we're talking about the multiverse. There's no guarantee that he's going to be the only Doom.
All right. I've got a theory. Galactus is in the trailer. He's freaking massive, which is what we want. You don't want like an apocalypse version of Galactus.
We don't want a cloud version.
Oh, Green Lantern flashbacks. Jesus. So I think at the end of this movie, Galactus is going to inhale the planet that they're on. Franklin's going to have something to do with it because Franklin in one of the comics was able to actually teleport things from the womb of Sue Storm. Now, if that happens and that galaxy is demolished, then that goes that doom as well. So it could be Malkovich's doom.
Mm.
It'd be interesting.
It will be, yeah. Anything's on the table. Any cards on the table.
Any tables on the cards even.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it though.
Yeah. No.
Actually seeing a Fantastic Four. I love. It's a guilty pleasure movie. The original Fox Fantastic Fours, the two, the Silver Surfer and the original one. Guilty pleasures are shit.
A nostalgic factor to it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in a foam outfit, so it's like it works for the time.
Yeah. The
Josh Trank one.
That was woeful.
It wasn't. Everyone's like, oh, how did he have a black kid? I don't even run into that. The fact that he had a white daughter and a black son. I didn't even run into that at all. That didn't faze me at all. That movie was just terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Thing did look impressive, but he wasn't the Thing from Marvel.
No, not at all.
I really wanted to like that movie because I like Miles Teller,
Same.
Michael B. Jordan.
Dude,
like
kick-ass
great
artists.
actors. Could have been something.
Well, Josh Trank's other movie before that was
Chronicle. Yeah.
Fucking dark and evil as shit, dude.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That was it's a bit of a cult classic. It's
absolutely. But to go from that to Fantastic Four was a massive downgrade.
Yeah, he bombed.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
But I actually think he come out and he goes, I will never work for another big studio again because they micromanage everything, which is something that Zack Snyder's also said.
Yeah, that's true.
The big studios just go, we want this, we want that. And they have to go, yes, sir.
Well, I mean, look at Marvel with Feige. He'd be managing a lot of things, and that has not been to the detriment of those
Not at
movies. I think you just need the right person in charge.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Feige's had this vision up until COVID lockdown, and then they all went to TV series and shit. I think that's where they lost the plot. The Marvel TV I think that's what's alienated a lot of people that are interested in it, because now you've got all this additional homework of subpar TV shows that you've got to watch to catch up on the movies you're excited for.
Yeah.
I like the visuals of WandaVision. The story was just dragged on, dude. It felt like I was on the slowest ride possible. And then you had Secret War, which was just
trash.
Just trash, man. There was not a redeeming quality in that.
No.
And there should have been.
I haven't watched Harkness yet.
No, never have I.
I don't know whether I will. I didn't finish the second season of Loki.
Loki wrapped it up nice, man. I'd say go watch that.
It just, social media spoiled it for me. I saw what happened.
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay, I don't need to watch it. Jonathan Major's no longer in the universe. I don't really need to see whatever happened there. They'll tie that up however they do. Bucky and Sam, or what was it called? It was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then it became Captain America and the White Wolf. Is that what they changed it to?
I don't even know if they changed it right at the end. I'm not sure, but I know it was. I think the last episode was instead of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it was Captain America and something. But yeah, he was called White Wolf when he was in Wakanda.
Yeah, I think so. He was called the White Wolf.
Yeah, I'd like that show. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to see Bucky and Sam.
Yeah,
I wish Bucky played a bigger part in Captain America.
I couldn't, mate. He was a congressman. He had to go do some political shit just before he jumped into bed with a heap of criminals and murderers.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
The man who killed over 300 people is now your congressman.
Thaddeus Ross became the president in that same universe. So,
Yeah, good point.
speaking about new movies coming out, have you seen the trailer for Mickey 17?
Dude, yes, I have.
I'm a sucker for an original sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty keen for this.
It's very very Day After Tomorrow, the Tom Cruise movie.
Yep.
Yeah. But it just looks hilarious. And like everyone goes, oh, Rob Pattinson, the sparkly vampire. Dude, I don't give a shit. He's one of the fucking top tier actors of our gen.
Dude has chops.
Has chops, man. He has not been in a movie where I was like, it's like Daniel Radcliffe. You don't think Daniel Radcliffe, oh, he's Harry Potter. It doesn't matter. The shit that he's in after Harry Potter are unreal. And he's not pigeonholing himself to movies that are going to win him awards. It looks like he's just having a shit ton of fun being an actor.
I think Robert Pattinson just wants to distance himself from
being a sparkly vampire. Yeah,
I don't blame him.
I wouldn't either. But dude, he could have not worked for the rest of his life. Probably, he would have been set.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he's going out and doing all these, like Mickey 17 looks like a romp.
It does.
Hilarious romp.
And directed by the fellow that did Parasite.
Oh, dude, I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard good things.
Bong Joon-ho. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Have you've seen Parasite?
Yeah, sensational.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
because it was a Korean movie first, and then they remade it for American audiences, didn't they?
No, it won an American award in another language. That's how good
subtitle.
It is. Yeah,
fuck, I'm gonna have to give that a watch.
Yeah, he also did Snowpiercer.
I love that movie. That was a cracker.
And that animated film Okja about the pig-looking thing. Yeah. Haven't watched that yet. I think I might give it a go.
It's the father and kid who find the little alien thing. Oh no! That's C-17. It's made by the same bloke who done Kung Pao. Well, not Kung Pao, Kung Fury.
Yeah.
It's so good.
No, I think it's an animal that's been grown in a lab and it escapes and a little kid finds it. I don't know. Visually, it looks fantastic.
Very relatable.
Yeah.
Relatable content.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for it. And a decent sized cast.
We're still talking about Parasite, yeah?
No, Mickey 17.
Mickey 17. Well, yeah, there's multiple versions of Robert Pattinson, which I'm always easy to look at.
Stephen Yeun, isn't it? From Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Voice of Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Collette.
Yeah.
The Hulk. I'm blanking on...
Which one?
The Avengers one.
Oh, yeah.
Ruffalo, yeah, fucking hell.
Edward Norton.
Yeah, well, there were Eric Banner. There's been a few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably wasn't fair for me to say.
Jesus.
The latest Hulk, and not the red one.
I was about to say Harrison Ford.
You asshole.
But hang on. Circling back, you mentioned Invincible. The young bloke Jackie's been into me. He's like, "Oh, have you watched Invincible?" I'm like, "No, I haven't even watched season 2 yet." And he's like, just hating on me for some reason. Last night he come out and he's like, "Oh, there was the biggest fight ever, and they've put it on a cliffhanger." I'm like, "Well, please don't talk to me about it. I want to watch it." So every time he walks out, he's like, "Have you seen Invincible?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, and you can see his head's nearly exploding because all he wants to do is talk about it. I'll get around to watch it.
Yeah, I've only watched the first season. It was. I've heard that. Well, I've seen a lot of things where they're bagging on the animation in the third season.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, they've got the actors that they've got, like J.K. Simmons, Stephen Yeun, and a whole lot of other names I can't remember right now, voicing characters in this.
Massive cast.
If the story's good, the actors are good. The animation doesn't need to be sensational, I guess. As long as on some key points we have.
All you got to do is look at some massive titles that have had, subpar animation. And I'm going to mention a show here that you've been begging me to watch for the last few months. Full Metal Alchemist. It's not the best animation.
Shut your mouth. Mate, no, everything about that show is great.
Well, the animation looks shit.
You look shit.
But no, I'm sure the show's amazing. But the version I was watching that looked like it was on VHS. So that could have been a skill issue.
Yeah, that could have been your fault.
Definitely sounds like a skill issue.
So we've both been reading a book in the past couple of days.
Listening, yeah.
Listening, yeah. I mean, I say reading all the time. I listen to audiobooks all the time.
Ali peeps me all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm reading this book. No, you know what, you lazy prick, you're listening to it. So I'm a tattooist. I can't very well just read and do a tattoo.
No, that's right. Well, I'm a machinist and, I don't want to dirty a book, so I'll just listen to books.
Exactly.
For a little bit of background, what kind of books do you like in general?
Usually sci-fi. I love sci-fi. I've tried to. The thing that I used to listen to when I was tattooing was just true crime podcasts. Just got too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weighing on me too much. So I've sort of gone down the path of sci-fi as well.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff that's going to take me out of the norm. I don't want to listen to anything that's happening 3 hours down the road where someone's being injured or hurt or maimed or anything like that. So I sort of go space travel. Yeah, fuck yeah.
An escape from reality.
Yes, dude. Yeah. So the Bobiverse, one of my favourites. Ready Player One, amazing. The Martian,
yep.
Fantastic. In case you haven't noticed, the majority of these are narrated by R.C. Bray. He's my favourite narrator of all time.
Speaking about The Martian, it's written by Andy Weir, and he has another book called The Hail Mary Project that's actually being turned into a movie now as well. I believe Ryan Gosling is the main character. That's another sci-fi I'm interested in seeing.
The book is sensational, man.
Yeah.
I was watching a movie with Adam Sandler in it not long ago. Spaceman, I think it's called, and it's just him and the spaceship with another spider thing. But it's vastly different to that one. The book Hail Mary is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So I'm excited to see and I'm massive Ryan Gosling fan at the moment.
I bet you are.
Can do no wrong.
It's a great book, and the audio book was a great production too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy Andy Weir's writing. It's easily digestible for a guy that writes very scientific.
Very factual and like mathematical accurate as well.
But in a way that the layman can understand it quite well. Yeah, sensational.
I find myself re-listening to those two books, The Martian and the Hail Mary Project, multiple times.
I can see how that would be a comfort read.
Easy. Yeah. And Ready Player One.
There's not many books that I will re-listen to or reread. I generally, I tend to listen to something new or read something new forever. I don't.
Yep.
I'm not the type of person to re-watch or revisit things too often.
Yeah, I'm very different. Like I'll probably listen to Ready Player One probably 20 times. It doesn't get better.
It doesn't get better?
No, it doesn't get any better.
Ready Player One doesn't get any worse?
No, it doesn't get any better than Ready Player One.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus, man.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, you're right. It could have been taken both ways.
Yeah. I think I read it first and then I'll listen to it. I listened to the version read by Will Wheaton.
Yep. He does a version of The Martian as well, which I didn't find as easily digestible or as fun to listen to as the R.C. Bray version.
It's funny because I believe that's the one that I listened to was the Will Wheaton one.
Yep.
And I had no problem with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine. Book-wise, I agree. Sci-fi, great. Horror, to break it up a bit, and then fantasy. And fantasy tends to be a long slog because I tend to pick up big, long series.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not a non-fiction person at all. I can't stand biographies.
Not. Listen, the non-fiction that I do listen to, it's usually like narrated by what's that British guy's name? Stephen Fry. I will listen to that bloke read out the dictionary.
Yeah.
He's got his own books out called Mythos and another one out called Heroes. And it's like based on Greek mythology, Greek heroes, Greek gods, all that sort of stuff, how they became. And I listen to that, but I also listen to him do Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Till the Cows Come Home. He also
The Harry Potter series?
I was just about to say that, dude. You picked it right out of my brain. The Harry Potter series, man. He nails that.
Yeah.
And what really does it for me with a narrator is the fact that they're not taking you out of the story. The book that I've been listening to in the last couple of days, every time he talks, I think it's Patrick Warburton, Joe out of Family Guy talking to me. And it takes me out of it a little bit. And it just takes me a little bit to get back into it. But Stephen Fry, R.C. Bray, if you listen to them do any book, it sells you on Audible.
I believe you've had a couple goes at listening to Lord of the Rings. Did you try the Andy?
I did. The Andy Serkis one was the one that I actually got to get through. There was an older one on Audible that was done, and it was so terrible.
I believe I've listened to that one, yeah.
But the same dude who it's not the same dude, but the same reason why I can't listen to all of Jack Reacher's books on Audible, because it's all narrated by the same dude, and he talks like this all the time, and it's just so monotonous.
Yeah, listen, narrators are
it's a fine line.
Yeah, it is. They're gold. When they're good, when they're bad, it can really drag a book down. There's a series that I was reading, Warhammer series, called Gaunt's Ghosts. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Kind of not really my normal type of listening or reading. But the first 11 books were read by a narrator named Toby Longworth. Great. Listened to 11 books of him reading to me. Most of the books would go for about anywhere between 8 and 13 hours. So it gets to book 12, Salvation's Reach, I believe it is. The book is literally twice the size of any of the other books, and they've changed the narrator.
Pisses me off.
Man, and he didn't even try to pronounce some of the names the same way. He just completely changed it. I'm really hoping that there is a petition out there. I have signed it to get Toby Long to finish the series, man. Oh, it irked me something fucking bad.
That's like this other series I listen to, Expeditionary Force. There's 17 books out of it at the moment, and it's all narrated by R.C. Bray. And I'm like, if they change the narrator halfway through this shit, I'm probably going to riot.
So the Wheel of Time series I listened to, all 14 books. It was pretty good. It had 2 narrators, but it was a male and female,
right?
For the male parts and the female driven parts.
See, I like that with the Sandman book. I know F the author right now, but the people who done the Audible original, it was almost like a TV show was happening in your ears, that your eyes were just closed.
The BBC production? Yeah.
Full on voice actors and sound effects and stuff like that. It was really well done.
I did His Dark Materials. It was a BBC production. Yep. It had Professor Xavier, the young one, James McAvoy, which I actually believe he's in the TV series too. And it had a full cast, and it was great.
Yeah, I like him. I like that sort of thing, man. It's just there was Did you ever listen to the Batman series on Audible?
I did not,
dude. It's the bloke who plays. He's in Us, and plays M'Baku in Black Panther.
Yep.
He voices Duke. I think his last name is.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think it's Duke. But he voices Batman. Seriously good.
Dude's got some.
He's got some massive acting job, and his voice is so good.
Yeah, he's got the bass. He's got some. You'd have some gravel too. I imagine he'd be a pretty good Batman.
Great Batman.
Yeah. The latest book we've been listening to is something that you're probably not used to reading. I've read a couple of series in this kind of genre or subgenre. Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's a fun, silly book.
It's It's actually a real good mixture between D&D and Ready Player One. Like it's got the technological sort of head-up display and all that sort of stuff.
So that subgenre is called lit RPG or a literary role-playing game.
I thought it was just like lit, as in fucking this.
It is pretty lit. I don't mind it. But yeah, there's quite a few books out there at the moment, and funnily enough, this one actually began on a website called Royal Road, which is like for fan fictions and like original stuff as well. Where obviously it did well on there, well enough that he published that story and went on to obviously have it done on Audible. But yeah, it's very lit RPG and isekai kind of esque mechanic to it with that heads up display.
Yeah.
It's kind of I wouldn't say common, but it's a pretty popular subgenre at the moment.
This is the first sort of instance I've listened to something like it. Was at your recommendation, and I'm finding it difficult to correlate the environment. I keep fighting myself in picturing the ninth circles of hell of Dante, and then I'm picturing dungeons as well. But then I'm also trying to picture, because it's the whole Earth's been sucked under the ground. It's like, is everything just underground now?
Everything's underground. It's a dungeon. It's literally corridors, halls, open areas, all underground. Yeah.
And as you delve deeper and deeper, that's where things get harder and harder. But it still hasn't. I know we're only into the first book, but it hasn't. They keep saying, "Oh, no one makes it past level 13. People have started level 13." But the thing what is happening after level 13? Like, these aliens have come in, they've destroyed the planet, everything's been sucked underground. Well, it's a desolate place. They're going to milk all of its resources. What happens after that?
Well, I mean, that's what we're going to find out.
Yeah.
That's what's going to drive the story. You assume that he's either potentially going to take on this syndicate that is controlling this game show, which is basically what this story is about.
Yeah, it's very Running Man. Actually, I think they mentioned that in the first.
Yeah. I think you'll find that he will butt heads with them a fair bit, try and change shit up. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. It's easily digestible, in my opinion. I think you said you had found it a bit jarring whenever they went over their stats and stuff like that. That's kind of something I kind of zone out on, because the story happens in between those moments.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep updating you about that anyway.
Like every time he uses one of his spells or he uses one of his abilities, it sort of mentions it, and they keep on like. I was just at a scene where it was on a game show, and the host gave him a pair of shoes and goes, and he's like, I can't wear shoes because I've got these feet that are impervious and it'll take away from my stats. And I'm like, so he does reiterate things like that you may well have forgotten at the start.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it's easily digestible. I find myself, if I pause it and I've got to step away for a bit, when I come back, it literally takes a few words and I'm back to where I was before.
Yeah. Another series that's ongoing that I've listened to as well, He Who Fights with Monsters. So it's more isekai, which is, as a subgenre, it's when somebody's taken from their home planet and they wake up on another world.
Predators.
I suppose, yeah, or they're reborn into another world, and they start again. Usually when they are reborn into that world, it's either their technology or what they know from their previous world that makes them better than everyone else around them.
Right.
Or they gain some kind of power, like they wake up in a magical world. This is very similar. He dies on Earth, wakes up in this other world, and he has like a heads-up display. He played a lot of games back home, and turns out that's his flavour of his magic. He kind of gets a leg up on everyone else because he can see the descriptions for things where other people have to kind of figure it out the hard way.
Yeah, right.
And it's pretty interesting. It's I think it's up to book 11.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
But it's funny, these lit RPGs, they kind of have a real linear kind of power grade to them. The characters, one of the main tropes of them is they constantly are getting stronger.
Yeah, that's what I've like as someone like, and we've been playing tabletop games for a few years.
Mhm.
Like we've been on the same campaign of D&D for nearly 2 years,
Yeah.
mate. It's taken me forever to level up this character, and this son of a bitch keeps leveling up every time he encounters somebody.
Well, I blame you assholes for cancelling half the time.
Hey, I never cancel.
No, you are one of the better ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Lee.
but yeah, it's an interesting subgenre, and it's just kind of fun. And like I said, easily digestible. Like a lot of kind of contemporary series, like the Bobbiverse that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
How do you find being like listening to multiple similar genre books at the same time? So you've said there's 11 books in that series you were just mentioning.
Yep.
In Dungeon Crawler Carl,
Yep.
there's 7 books at the moment.
Mhm.
6, 7. Bobbleverse, there was 4. How do you...
Five.
And that
There's
5. But there was... Like Bobbleverse, push that over there because that's sci-fi.
Mhm.
But these ones that are lit RPG style books, how do you keep track and separate each story?
Well, I mean, besides the fact that they're narrated by somebody else, even if I was reading them, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit of a daydreamer. I think I have I'm able to retain certain information about a lot of names of characters and stuff like that. I may forget a lot of other fucking things, but
Yeah.
yeah. Story worlds, just any kind of story. I don't know. I have no issue with it. I know some people do. I've heard of people who will be reading a series, have to wait a
Yeah.
year for the new book.
Yeah.
They will go back either a couple books or back to the beginning
Did that.
and listen to the latest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem with just jumping straight in.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I was listening to 2 series simultaneously, both narrated by the same dude, but one was Expeditionary Force and the other one was called Helldivers. Helldivers, they're both sci-fi. Both Earth has been destroyed sort of books. Sorry, but if I can relate anything to a movie, that's where I'll remember everything.
Yep.
I had a game with an old workmate of mine, and she went and made this big playlist, and it was just of 10-second intros to songs that were from different movies. And she's like, oh, she'd play it, and then I'd have to guess what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I can, if it's in a movie or it's set in a movie, I can 95% remember it. But if you say it to me today, anything, I'll probably forget it tomorrow morning.
It's funny. My wife and her siblings and that they are big on quotes from movies.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing.
Really?
Yeah,
I
quotes,
did.
no good. People say quotes to me. What's that from? I got no idea. I think you've done this to me 100 times. I'm like, no idea. Or my wife will say a line, and she was like, "What's that from?" I'm like, "No, nothing."
Yeah. See, even if I'm tattooing, like, and there's a movie playing in the background and I haven't seen it for 10 years, and I just start talking along with the movie, they're like, huh? What? I'm like, oh, don't worry, mate. My backwards brain is going along with the movie. What are your thoughts on Dungeon Crawler Carl?
I finished it this morning. I enjoyed it.
The first book or the full series?
No, first book.
Okay.
I didn't get that stuck in. Like I said, it's good fun. It's silly fun. It's not going to win any literary awards, I do not believe. It's probably not for a serious reader, and when I say a serious reader, I don't mean somebody who reads a lot.
Yeah.
I mean somebody who reads serious tone books.
Yeah.
I think I saw somebody had said, this would be for somebody who likes D&D and role-playing games and spruiked off about a couple of different books. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I reckon you could get into it if you come into it with an open mind, knowing that it's just it's a silly, fun read, and I'll finish it.
I think I've said this to you before as well. Like, I don't expect every movie to blow my socks off. Like, I'm pretty adept at checking my brain at the door and just going in to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I was doing with this. Like, after a while, I'm like, okay, this is fun. I can get down with this. It was just a couple of. I think it's more the whole thing is that the people that he meets along the way have had their worlds conquered.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're servants of the conquerors.
Mm-hmm.
Are they actually living a full life? Are they actually, they say, it could be 700 years between their cycles. It's like.
Yeah, it sounds like they're put into some kind of stasis. It sounds like a few of them have been around for a while. That is one of the more compelling reasons why I'll probably finish it, to see what kind of happens.
Exactly.
Even when I went and looked at the covers of each of the books, they kind of give a little bit of a taste, or at least the first one gave a bit of a taste of what happened in the first book.
Yeah, you've got the goblin machine sort of chewing him up and he's only wearing underwear.
Yeah, and then to look at the rest of them, and you're like, oh, okay, I do want to know what's going on here. I think it's compelling enough. But at the same time, for me, a lot of the stories that I consume are at work while I get paid, while I'm doing things with my hands that I don't necessarily always have to think about.
Yeah.
When you're saying about movies, you want to check your brain at the door and whatever. I don't have a lot of time to watch movies these days.
Exactly right.
To find the time to sit down and watch or go to the movies. So I'm probably more critical of movies for that reason, only because
it's taking up time of yours that's actually valuable. And
yeah,
I got that.
Even though there's you got to pay for these books, they're good cheap fun.
They are.
And yeah, like on my way to work, on my way home from work, I've got an hour and a half in the car every day. Between 11 to 8 hours, whatever I choose to work for the day. That's a lot of time to be listening.
For sure.
It makes those times go quicker. And even when they're not so great, it's still good to have that distraction.
Yeah.
So I think I gave it 4 on Goodreads.
Yeah, righto.
And I look forward to the next one.
See, there's books like this that are fun, but then there's books that I start that I just have to finish because otherwise I'm just going to throw my phone at the wall. Majority of Stephen King books are like that for me. Like, really? I start them with this hope that it's going to be okay, and then
they're never okay.
They're never okay. They're just.
How do you mean? Like, you like them?
No, I hate them.
Oh, I thought you meant because they always end on a.
No, they always end with some minority getting hated on or slapped around, or I don't know.
They never really end good.
No, there's never any. I don't know. There's one book I really want to read, I'll listen to, and that's Dr. Sleep, for the specific reason that I wasn't a great fan of The Shining.
The book?
Or the movie.
Well, they're completely two different things, the book and the movie.
Yeah. Either of them, I didn't really gel with either of them. Mm-hmm. But the movie of Dr. Sleep
is basically the book. Insanely
well done. And it was a story that it come out of nowhere. And I'm like, it's Jackie Torrance, blah, 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 blah. Should I watch it? And then I watched it. I'm like, it's good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it.
I think I had just finished the Dark Tower series and all the kind of... So the Dark Tower is set in his world.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything he's ever written is connected.
Well, that's like the Castle Rock show.
Yeah.
And now he's bringing out Derry.
Yep, which is the prequel to It.
Yeah. But it's going to have touchings of like Salem's Lot, and it's going to have little bits. It's going to pull little bits from everywhere and sort of just finish his world building that he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. It's just It was one of the first books I listened to by Stephen King.
Yep.
The 12-year-old orgy just doesn't do it for me, dude.
Yeah, that's a bit kind of like, that's a
Dude,
bit fucking weird.
it could have just been left out. And it's
could've.
been proven because it hasn't been in the movies and you don't lose where you're going.
That's the only thing that tarnished that book for me. Otherwise, it would have probably been my favourite Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Except for that was fucking weird.
You love Salem's Lot too, didn't you?
Salem's Lot has been my favourite so far.
Yeah.
I read both of those in that kind of journey of doing or reading the Dark Tower series. I think there's 21 books that was on the suggested list to kind of read along the way because characters pop up in and along the way.
Sure.
And that was an effort, and the ending was a classic Stephen King ending, just a kick in the guts.
Yeah, right.
And
I think I've started Salem's Lot, but I haven't finished it.
I'm talking about the entire Dark Tower.
Oh,
series.
yeah, right.
The way it ends is just a kick in the guts, man.
There's 16 books or something, though, isn't there?
There's 7 Dark Tower books, and I think there's 21 books if you want to kind of do that entire journey. You don't have to. Not at all.
So you can just do the 6.
You can just do the 6 or 7 books.
See, I didn't see, and that's another thing. And like everyone's like, "Oh, the movie was shit." I didn't mind the movie.
Movie shit.
I didn't compare to the books, really.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe I'm.
Well, the movie had nothing compared to the books. Like it didn't even look the same, feel the same.
Yeah, right.
It just had a couple of characters that had similar names.
Right. Yeah.
And like even one of the characters was pulled from like I don't think he's introduced until the 3rd book. I'm like, if you're going to make the Dark Tower series, which is being made by another
at
fella,
Amazon, as a TV show, isn't it?
I believe it's a TV show. I haven't really looked into it too much, but the fella that's making it, he made Doctor Sleep.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah. And he said he's sticking to the source material.
Right.
For good or bad. And like, I can see why some people wouldn't like it. It's a bit of a slog in parts.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think it would be worth it.
I like the characters of the gunslinger and the Men in Black.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is the man they call the Men in Black in The Stand as well? So is it the same character?
Yeah. So he's an entity that has
showed
up in a lot of things. So the Dark Tower world and the Dark Tower. The Dark Tower is the center, and I think he describes it as a spoked wheel. And from that, they are the gunslingers, are the protectors of this kind of area. Like it's kind of like limbo.
Yep.
Between worlds. And they kind of the ones that protect it from kind of encroaching on each other or destroying each other.
Right.
He kind of gets around. He's in, The Stand and in a few other things. And
Okay. Because I've read that one too, The Stand. I thought that was,
It was good. It was one of the better ones out of all the books that I read along with it.
Fair enough. I'll take your word for it.
He has a way with dialogue. I think that's the big thing for me. His characters seem real, even for their flaws, and the way they kind of interact with each other seems legit.
Right, okay.
I think that's the big takeaway I take from King books. Like, I don't find any of them scary. I'm
the same. I've never been in fear or gone, oh.
I've never understood how anyone can be scared of a book. I've tried all the biggest and baddest horror books that are out there. It
just doesn't.
No, even horror movies.
Fucking ghosts. This place is haunted.
And so you say.
Apparently.
But yeah, horror movies, I enjoy them. I like them trying to scare me.
Yeah.
The tension, the build up and all that. But I've never once kind of had that feeling.
Are we going to get back on track?
Suppose. Where this lead from? Dungeon Crawl Crawl.
Yeah.
Books we read, horror movies. Yep. And to here. Yeah. So I said what I rated Dungeon Crawl Crawl.
You did?
I did. So I watched the first 2 episodes of Daredevil last night.
Yes. I watched it the night before last.
What were your thoughts?
Thought it started off all guns blazing, dude. I thought, yes, look at this, straight into a hallway scene. I'm like, this is going to be the shit.
Spoilers, obviously.
Yeah, but it was straight into that violence that we knew from the Daredevil Netflix series.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, they're keeping the same tone. Perfect. Let's keep going. And then something happened in the first episode, which I was not ready for. Now, it has happened in the comic books multiple times. And then it's sort of gone down an offshoot where he's been put into Witsec or he's been. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? But seeing the anguish in Matt Murdock's face when he rips off his mask and he's just screaming on that rooftop.
Oh, he can hear the heartbeat. He knows.
He knows.
Mhm.
Like he heard, he's like, doom, doom.
Mhm.
And then you just see that scream, and it's like that's his family, that's his best mate. That tore me hard out seeing that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready for that. Not in the first freaking episode.
I was going to say that, as you said, that they have died in the comics before.
Yeah.
This is not uncommon ground. I had actually expected it to happen some point during the Netflix series.
Yeah.
Didn't. I was kind of expecting it to happen this season, one or the other character.
Yep.
Didn't expect it in the very first scene. I was like,
The
okay.
first 7 minutes of the episode.
I mean, it makes sense.
Well, it's in the title, in a Born Again. So it's like we're going to see the death of Daredevil. And then we're going to see him reborn, of course.
There has to be some kind of catalyst for the change.
Yeah, for him hanging up the cowl.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how close this is going to be to the Frank Miller comic run of Born Again.
Yep.
It's already kind of changed up the character that kind of instigates this whole
That's right.
thing.
I was actually, when I seen that bullseye target on the glove, I'm like, let's go. I love Bullseye as a character. And just in that hallway scene where he's just like throwing knives and shit everywhere, and Daredevil's just looks like a pin cushion, dude.
Yeah.
Like he's just riddled with blades. And I'm like, this is the shit.
I did find it a little janky.
The special
CG.
effects.
I think they were going for that one-shot feel like they had in the past seasons. Every season had that one choreographed one-shot scene, which was fucking spectacular.
Yeah, but this one you could see the cuts.
I think the camera was legit one-shot, but I think they've overlaid certain things when it was pulling in and out, kind of like a theatre production.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look right.
And like, even in, like when he's throwing his billy clubs up and the cables that let him swing, it didn't look like a real person. It looked like a claymation character.
Or a cutout.
Yeah.
That they've just dragged across the screen.
Yeah, there was no animation of it. They've just gone and dragged it across.
The thing is, Charlie Cox, he was pretty acrobatic in the Netflix. Like,
Absolutely.
he was jumping around. Like, I mean, I understand that he's got to be this kind of superhumanish guy.
Yeah.
Kind of better than other people. But I mean, you could probably put some mats down behind something and throw him off with a guide wire on and get something that looks more realistic. And
see, and like again, going with Ryan Gosling, Dreamboat. Have you seen his movie Fall Guy?
I have, yes.
Just seeing that and seeing what stuntmen can do, the stuff that Daredevil is doing on that screen in that instance, it's not, from a layman's point of view, it didn't look overly dangerous. Like, it's just literally him swinging around a corner. Why did you need to CG that?
Presumably it was set on a rooftop.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they film a set with somewhere for a stunt actor to swing in, land, and Charlie Cox run out the other side
to
continue the shot? Whether this is just a cheaper way of doing it? Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of after that first scene, I think we fell back into the feel of Daredevil, the original TV series. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay.
I think so too.
The first 2 episodes weren't bad.
The introduction of the White Tiger was pretty fucking cool.
That's pulled straight from a comic.
That train station,
Yeah,
where old mate just goes, choom, gets turned into tomato soup.
yeah.
I liked it.
It will be interesting to see if somebody else takes up the mantle of White Tiger, whether he gets out, whether they follow what happens in the comics with this guy.
I have no idea what happens.
There's a lot of different kind of things that are like threads to be pulled at. Wilson Fisk and
Being the mayor, yeah.
being the mayor and his relationship with his wife and what that's going to do to him as somebody who is, trying to do right by his city.
Like he even says at the start, he's like, we need to make this bulletproof. Like it has to be legit from here on out. And you see the graffiti and it just says King and then the city, like graffiti underneath it. Do you think you're going to see a turn of him? Now, it's already shown that he's not going to be legit because he blackmailed the police commissioner. So is it going to be, do you think it's going to be Vanessa becoming the kingpin and then going against him and then him and Daredevil?
I think she's going to be the pressure that drives him back into that persona.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of pressure Matt Murdock puts on the Kingpin to as well. So in the Frank Miller run, he pretty much outs Matt Murdock and he ends up homeless and all this kind of stuff. Whether we're going to see that or whether it's just going to be a different type of berating from the Kingpin to drive him down and down and down because, he doesn't have those people in his life anymore. And
we've seen how hard he deals with not having Karen Page in his life as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of meat on that bone.
Well, there was, and if you've watched the show, there was some mentions of the Punisher and Spider-Man in there.
Mm-hmm.
We know we're not going to see Spider-Man.
No.
And John Barenthal has been on set and he's filmed scenes for this.
Well, he's been in the trailer.
Yeah. So how long before you think you see the Punisher?
Well, did you see one of the cops had a Punisher tattoo?
Yeah. And that brutal scene, dude. Holy hell.
Whether Karen Page brings him back in.
Yeah.
Because in the voiceover, he's calling somebody Red, John Barenthal, the Punisher.
Exactly.
And that could either be Karen Page or it could be Daredevil. I don't know.
Look, I love the Netflix series of Punisher and Daredevil. The fact that they've kept the same cast with everybody, I'm ecstatic about. I wasn't ready for Foggy to bite the dust as he did. Well done, though.
Mm-hmm.
That the whole, and when Bullseye hits the deck and you see Karen Page just freeze and she's like, oh, I've lost another one.
No, see, I saw that a different way. I saw that as she knew that he had thrown Bullseye off the roof.
Oh, is that how you've seen it?
Yeah, and that he's crossed that boundary of killing somebody.
Yeah, right.
And I think that might have been something that had kind of kept her as at arm's reach.
Thinking that he had some retribution.
Well, no, like maybe not committing to a relationship with him because she was worried that might happen. She didn't want to be with that type of person. And he, despite what had happened, had pulled that trigger and sent him off the top of the roof. And I think that's why she is backing away from him now.
Yeah, right.
Whether that comes up further in, we'll find out.
Well, one of them cops isn't going to have a good time.
No.
The one in that apartment.
Yeah.
He got very Batman planted into the floor.
I am interested to see whether they actually survive that encounter or not.
Same.
And another one that I saw was the swordsman is meant to return in this. Tony Dalton. The rich dude, Kate Bishop's mother's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the Hawkeye series.
Yeah.
The Swordsman is what he's called in the comics. He's meant to make a return
Yeah, right.
in this series, so that'll be interesting. Just even if it's just a cameo, I do
Yeah.
like them sprinkling in little things for us to pick up, and
Well, it gives people something to talk about, really,
yeah,
doesn't it?
that's right. There's plenty to look forward to.
Well, when you're talking about when Marvel sprinkle things in, what do you make of the images that have come out recently?
You're talking about the leaked images from Doomsday.
Yeah, we had someone in the comments on the YouTube channel talk about it.
That's right. I wasn't too sure. They look compelling, but with the state of AI at the moment,
Yeah,
because I think I saw leaks for or leaked concept images for Fantastic Four as well, and they looked stylistically very much the same.
yeah.
Now the thing is, these productions generally have different artists for each one, and the fact that they look very similar.
I follow. Well, I used to follow. I don't have Instagram anymore, but I had Andy Park, he does a lot of the storyboarding and the costume design for nearly all the Marvel projects.
Mm-hmm.
He used to put up that he was working on like several different projects, and he put out like a flood of images, and he'd only put out the ones that weren't going to get used.
Mm-hmm.
But he would be working on 4 or 5 projects at a time. So you get these dabbling of different imagery and different sort of things. So I don't run up against that as much, having the different designers or artists working on each video.
Yeah.
But there was some smickle shit there, though.
5 years ago, I would have ate that shit up.
Absolutely.
But now I don't know.
I could do it on my iPad right now.
Yeah. I did like what I saw though, and if that's kind of what we're going to get,
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued. See, I wasn't sure whether we'd ever see She-Hulk and Scar again.
Yeah.
One of those images has them in it.
Yeah.
All hulked out.
In a city of Hulks.
Maybe in Battle World.
Yeah.
Whether they were aliens or whether they were Hulks, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's Hulk Town where like it's just all variants and stuff of Hulk on Battle World.
Right, okay. That is interesting. Because there is some Hulk variants that are pretty cool from the comics that I would like to see on the big screen. There was 2 of what looked like a royal court around Doom.
Yeah. Him and his throne, dude, just looks so good. If that's the direction that we're going to go with for Doom,
yeah,
take my money.
And then the Young Avengers with Quill.
Considering I dislike him immensely after Endgame, the selfish piece of shit. Not Endgame, Infinity War.
Infinity War. I mean, I get that.
I don't think he's in any place to lead anyone. He can go eat a big bag of poopy.
I think he'd be a good choice to be a leader, not only because it would be ironic him leading a new wave of Avengers.
Yeah.
The fact that he isn't just immensely more powerful than those ranks. The fact that he wouldn't just be able to stand up and look after them.
Well, yeah, he doesn't even have any superpowers anymore since his old man died.
Yeah. So I think it might be all right. And then there was Quill and the White Vision.
Yeah, sitting on the lounge.
I think I remember before Endgame, and there was concept pictures of Fat Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was a little bit like, what?
It works so well.
But it did work pretty well.
And I love how they didn't change it.
Yeah.
They kept him like, even when he called for Stormbreaker and that.
Yeah. And then his beard was all
plaited up.
And yeah. No, it was sick. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think in the images that I saw for Fantastic Four, they all revolved around Franklin, the baby.
If I'm wrong about that sort of shit, I'm excited that I'm wrong about it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be disappointed.
No.
But yeah, the fact that there's that kind of mystery about it again with AI, whether is that legit?
Yeah.
Or aren't we going to see it instead of for a while there? You're getting leaks and
And you could tell
spoils
just by
from.
looking at a hand. Like if there was 11 fingers on it, you'd know.
I'm just saying that things were getting spoiled for a long time,
Yeah.
especially up towards Endgame. I think I saw the spoilers for how Endgame, well, what was it? Captain America picking up Mjolnir, Fat Thor. I saw a few things in this video which I cannot help myself but watch.
But even knowing that that leaked imagery was put out and you knew that Cat, we all knew that Cat was going to pick up Mjolnir. We all knew it. It was going to happen.
At some point, yeah.
But when that happened in Endgame, not a single person in that cinema that we're in shut up.
Yeah.
That was uproarious cheering. And that's what these comic book movies do for me, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a certain level of excitement that comes with a comic book movie that you don't get from a normal movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tingles.
And that was just from Age of Ultron, where he's like, they're all trying to pick Mjolnir up. And it's like, that's how long they took to pay that off.
Yeah.
You know, we say this, world building, it's fucking important. And when DC come in and they try to build their world in 3 movies, you're like, what the fuck he's doing?
Yeah.
Kevin Feige set this shit out
10 years.
10 years, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a 10-year arc of a perfectly played out, not perfectly played out, there was hiccups along the way, surely, but this linear story that was told in by several different directors and several different characters, all originating from several different books, all come together for this one crossover event that just blew
minds.
It blew minds.
Yeah.
Whether you're a comic book fan or not, you could go into Iron Man 1 and go, holy shit, this is sick.
Yeah.
Because it is almost a perfect movie. There's not many holes you can pick with Iron Man, and I will say the same thing about Infinity War and Endgame. They rounded off that whole story perfectly.
Yeah. Movies you can't watch without watching previous movies, but if you've done the whole experience, top tier.
Yeah, and that's where I think this is where people, it's okay to go and watch an hour and a half, 2.5 hour movie before you go watch this other movie. It's when they expect you to go and watch 8 and 9 hours of a TV show, 7 of which is boring as shit.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about the visuals, man. Yeah, all right. WandaVision looked cool and it was different. Fucking annoyed me. It was just dragged out. And then White Vision just disappears and we haven't heard of him since. I think we talked about this last episode. When was the Eternals?
2021.
All right, so that's 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 TV shows, 3 movies, and it's only until Captain America, A Brave New World, that they mentioned the massive Earth-sized
celestial
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Person in the middle of the fucking Atlantic.
I would be interested to see a timeline of where everything kind of sits because it has been a bit ambiguous. They haven't really stated where these movies sit chronologically.
Yeah.
Whether it's only a real short amount of time, whether it's been a decent amount of time.
D&D campaign. Could have only been 6 months.
Yeah, it drags out.
Especially when people don't do what the DM wants them to do.
Yeah. I think that's every D&D game though. There's definitely kind of they need to get their pigeons in a row, I think.
Yeah.
I think after Endgame, they wanted to continue the momentum. I think they needed to take a breath.
Yes, and just let that sit. Let everyone sit with the death of Tony Stark.
Simmer on that and bring us in some kind of origin stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not necessarily the big ensemble cast movies like Eternals. I did like Eternals. It pretty much bombed. I don't see why it bombed. I thought it was good.
I hate you.
Why?
How can you hate Aquaman, but you like Eternals?
I thought Eternals was deep compared to Aquaman. The fact that Aquaman is set in the ocean, I don't mean that.
Oh,
kind
here
of
we go. See, you've done, Leggy.
Yeah, I stole that one.
Yeah. Look, Eternals. It was the what were the animal things that were attacking? They looked fantastic. I think they looked great. Wouldn't have been easy to create. That's for sure.
No, I forget what they were called.
But I loved the broken family cast sort of thing.
Still one of the greatest depictions of a speedster in any
absolutely
comic book movie.
Yeah, she was insane.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Dude, here we go. Now I'm fucking starting to make passes for Eternals. God damn, I'm gonna have to watch it again. Babe, we're watching that tonight.
I really hope it doesn't turn out to be one of the biggest disappointments, in my opinion. The ending with the Black Knight and Blade post-credit scene at the end. I really hope that pays off at some point.
That's where I'm starting to get the shits too. Their post-credit scenes used to be, yes, let's go, get you amped for that next movie. Now you see him and you're like, probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali is his name. Probably butchered that. Dude, the concept art I've seen of him as Blade looks amazing, dude. Looks so good, looks so killer. And having him and the Black Knight either teaming up or it ends with each other, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Kit Harington as I didn't run into an issue with that. I haven't seen any concept art of him as the Black Knight.
No, neither have I.
If you're going to do to me a Black Adam and Superman every time I go to a movie, I'm going to get the shits, and I'm just not going to go.
Yeah.
Because at the end of that movie, at the end of Black Adam, I shed tears. Henry Cavill was my Superman, my favourite Superman.
Yeah. What happened at the end of Black Adam?
Shut your mouth.
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
So it's the Black Adam sitting on his throne after he's defeated everybody. You like that, that image of Black Adam and he's sort of legs out and he's just sitting on his throne.
Yeah.
And then you hear from the shadows, Black Adam. And then you hear, what's his name? James, what's his name? Williams, the score, James Williams.
Something Williams.
Yeah.
That Superman score.
Yeah, Superman. That Superman, the Dick Donner Superman score comes on. And then he just steps out of the shadows and he goes, we need to talk. Cut to black. I was ready to buy my tickets there. The suit looked shit because it was that shiny suit with the highlights of his muscles. It looked like a baby blue and it was just trash. Fuck it off. Give me the Man of Steel suit again, just the dull blue, maybe a bit brighter blue. But I was ready to buy my tickets then.
Yeah.
To see Superman and Black Adam fighting, like facing off with each other, or just bringing Shazam in. Shazam was a light, dude. It was such a fun movie. To see Shazam, Superman, Black Adam, give it to me. I'm all for it. I don't care who plays. I think The Rock done an okay job with Black Adam, but I just think they need to get someone smaller because he was always going to be the fucking, I'm going to take over this shit. And I love how Deadpool brought that in and goes, I'm the power hierarchy of the Marvel Universe is about to change.
Yeah.
You give me, again, fan service. I didn't care for The Rock's Black Adam. He looked great as it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see pointed ears. which was a bit of a piss off. And the suit looked sensational. I loved the suit, how it was just a part of him, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're going to give me a post-credit scene, make sure you're going to make the goddamn movie.
Yeah, making sure it pays off.
You're literally pissing in the pockets of the people who are paying your bills.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be dicks.
That's right.
Just don't be dicks. So, yeah, like, I think as long as you're going to put a post-credits, then pay it off in the next movie. Don't leave us wait 6-7 years.
Absolutely.
Speaking of post-credits.
Yeah, I think we might wrap it up there. If you guys would like to join in on the conversation, you can always contact us on YouTube or Instagram. And that's it for this week.
Peace.